every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama Weathercast.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your midday statewide forecast. Looking across the state, looking at the visible satellite, scattered clouds around in many places, really kind of all the places across the state. Got some scattered cumulus clouds along the eastern side of the state. Some higher clouds starting to drift in from the southwest, but in general, it's kind of a mixture of sun and clouds out there today, and definitely a little bit warmer. Radar is pretty clear out there, especially compared to the last couple of days. Got a couple of showers trying to approach the state line, but really looking at the state at this point, not anything going on the radar yet. However, we still do expect to see development of some showers and thunderstorms as we get later into the afternoon and evening. Skycam network looking nice out there right now. It's 84 degrees in Ardmore, so it's getting pretty warm. It's nice blue skies with some scattered clouds around. And as we move over to Mount Cheaha, again, it makes a little bit of a difference to be at a higher elevation, around 2,400 feet. The temperature's at 75 degrees, so kind of nice up there. And again, the skies look really beautiful from this vantage point. And as we move further to the west, Alabaster is at 85 degrees, and the dew point is at 78. And again, similar looking skies are a very nice picture there. And moving further to the south, Dozier, again, similar looking skies there. So again, these scattered cumulus clouds are covering a good portion of the state out there. So what we're watching for the rest of today and the rest of this week, showers starting to thin out gradually. So again, we're going to have some scattered showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow and even into Saturday, but we do expect kind of overall the coverage will start to kind of decrease over the next couple of days. As heat levels rise, we'll see it feeling a little bit more like it should in this time of year in August. And then we'll keep our eyes on Erin out there in the Atlantic as it continues to strengthen. Temperatures right now, we're in the 80s across much of the state, but we're starting to hit 90 degrees down to the south, 90 degrees in Andalusia and Chatham and Gulf Shores, mid 80s across many other parts of the state towards the north central north part of the state. And as far as the heat index is concerned, you factor in the humidity, and it's already feeling like triple digits down towards the south. So feeling like 103 in Geneva, 101 in Atmore, and then 90s across much of the rest of the area. But expect to see this incrementally increase as we head towards the weekend. As far as the actual temperatures, this is kind of the trend we're expecting of the rest of the afternoon and evening. So getting up into, again, low 90s for a lot of the spots across the state, and then slowly backing down into the 70s as you get later on this evening. So that should be the typical trend in most spots especially if you don't get any rain in your area. Again, we're expecting though that warming trend will happen due to this ridge that's going to be building in. So right now we've got a little bit of dip of the jet stream that's over us that's helping to keep us not quite as warm, but this ridge will build in over the next couple of days, and that will help to just slightly bump up the heat just a little bit. But again, it's not expecting to be anything significant at this point. Looking at your Futurecast, we'll see again scattered showers starting to develop here in the next hour or so, along with all the scattered clouds around. So by the next couple of hours, again, scattered showers in some parts of the state towards the south and up towards the north as well. And then through the evening, expect those to die off as the sun goes down. And then for tomorrow, again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. And some spots will not see anything. Some spots will. That's going to be kind of the way it is in a typical summertime pattern. And we'll see a similar thing on Saturday, but again, expecting maybe a little bit less coverage with this more typical pattern as we get into the weekend and that ridge builds in. As far as the rainfall outlook for the next 7 days or so, most places are probably going to be getting somewhere around 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch or less. Now, some spots where there's a heavier downpour could get a little bit more than that, but this is going to be kind of the average. So again, not expecting to be as wet as we had been the last several days. Looking at the tropics, again, Tropical Storm Erin is strengthening at this point. The last advisory in the last couple of hours has it at 60 miles per hour sustained winds with gusts to 70 miles per hour. It's moving to the west at 17 miles per hour, so moving at a decent clip for a tropical system. And the satellite presentation continues to look pretty healthy for Tropical Storm, and we expect that will continue to look that way as we get further on into tomorrow. And in fact, the Hurricane Center expects that it will be a Category 1 hurricane by tomorrow morning. And then as it moves more to the west and then eventually starts to turn towards the north, we'll have a Category 3 hurricane in place as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Expecting it to skirt north of most of the islands north of the Caribbean, so Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and being north of there, staying east of the Bahamas. However, it'll be kind of a close call for sure. And you can see it starting to curve to the north here, and we expect it to eventually curve away from the coast. However, some of the models are trying to bring it, closer than would be comfortable, enough where there will be some impacts as far as waves, rip currents. And so it's still something that will be monitored, but still not expecting direct impact of a landfall or anything of that sort of Erin over the East Coast. All right, your 7-day forecast for North Alabama. Again, we're upper 80s to around 90 degrees as we get into the next couple of days, and we bump up to low to mid 90s as we get into the weekend with those lowering rain chances. And then for South Alabama, just a little bit of a bump up in the temperatures, maybe 94 degrees for tomorrow, 93, 92 over the weekend, with lows in the low to mid 70s, and those rain chances, again, on the decrease, although still some scattered thunderstorms around as you would typically expect this time of year. That'll do it for your statewide forecast. We'll have another one coming up later on this afternoon.